Hey everybody, welcome back. We went 2-1 in our last episode, but it was like the least satisfying 2 wins, 1 loss in history. Our loss came when we were up by more than 5 points and blundered it away. We'll definitely play the accepted Scandinavian here. And our 2 wins came from situations where, like, literally, our opponent clocked out and our opponent just disappeared. It's very strange. I do worry about this pawn a little bit, but I definitely also still want to get out here and try to control the center a little bit. So of course, like, we love the discovered attack on the queen. We do have, I wouldn't say it's a problem, but we have to think about where we would actually like this knight to go. I don't mind exchanging my queenside knight for their kingside knight if it doubles a pawn or gives us some tempo. Of course, we also would not mind, like, we can't just go here because they'll just go ahead and take it. Or, alternatively, hold on, I'm like, do I like this? I think I like this a lot now. But we have to think about what happens. Well, like, if they go here, they lose. We fork them, it's over. What if they go, they won't go there. They certainly will not go there. They will not go there, or shouldn't. Well, actually, if they go here after we go there, we'll just take them. Sorry, my clicking is so bad. I'm starting to realize why I'm so bad at first-person shooters. So, like, what I'm worried about is them attacking this pawn, which they could do from here, here, or here. All of those are taken. They like, we would take them, I should say. So they might go here, at which point I'm like, couldn't we just hit them with, like, one of those and, like, life just gets even harder for you? I think I definitely do like this move. Now, the dream is, I was just going to say, the dream is they leave the fork open, which they're not going to do. Instead, I think I do like the capture. I am a little stunned. They're playing so fast, too. I'm a little stunned that they wouldn't capture with the e-pawn, because this totally screws up their king side. Moreover, they take with the e-pawn, then I do this, and they got, like, a free pass at, getting some tempo here. I do want to capture, for the record. I think. I don't like this open file situation. See, they're going to push it anyway, but I don't love this open file situation that they got going on over here. Like along this line, but I also don't really care. I am thinking, like, what do I do if they do this? Well, I probably just do that. Which I might just want to do anyway. I mean, they don't have to castle, just to be clear. They could not castle. Now we would probably go here. It's just, like, long term, I think it's a little safer. That is a powerful move there. They're going to try to queenside castle, which is a little, I'm slightly flabbergasted. They can't kingside castle or queenside castle through check now, so they're going to have to come up with a new plan, and honestly, that's a pretty good one, now that I think about it. Yeah. Can't deny it. Kind of got me tripped up a little bit. Think I like putting some pressure on here. I much prefer our position. This knight's a little But if they do this, now we can do that. I would love to exchange, because I do want the power of having this open file. Interesting. So one thing they might consider, I guess, is moving the bishop here. I don't consider it very good. Because if they do that, we do this. Are we immediately under threat? Not at all. We could also just move our king over one. And then they've really got to do something. Like, I think I like this. I could be wrong. We're getting a little goofy, but I think I like it. Now, presumably they might be like, haha, I've still got like a cool trick here. I can get to here. Sure, kind of, I suppose. I can't take them. It's true. But then I do this. What are they going to do? If they take, we take. They have to move anyway. And when they move, we kind of get tempo. They can't move here. We would take them. So they would probably go here. It's not a horrible move. It's not amazing, though. And it leaves this pawn very vulnerable now, which I like a lot. That's something we're going to try to get into. The dream would be if somehow they, like, go here and then, like, here, then we get a very powerful spot for our knight, which has, like, wouldn't really call it a fork, but just a powerful position to keep that. Well, actually, it sucks. Oh, I didn't even consider the possibility of that. Okay, very interesting. Now, what do I think about this? This is the move that immediately jumps out at me. They can't go here. Can go there. Can go there. I think we like it. I think we like it. Probably they will go back to here. Gives us more protection here. They are... Oh, no, we're tied. I thought they were up by a pawn. So what's the main objectives for us right now as a chess-based gamer? We want to minimize their power along this very, very strong open vertical on the D file. Apart from that, minimal objectives, you know. Keep some pressure on this pawn so we don't immediately just lose all of our advantage on it. I think we have a superior position. What lets me think that? Well, like our two bishops, I think, are in a more powerful position than their two bishops. They have this doubled up pawn structure. Even though we have one pawn that's kind of lost in no man's land, it wasn't just like we didn't move it there for sport. It moved there because it captured an extra pawn. But still, you know, you want to pay attention. You know, we want to keep that advantage as long as possible. But I think we have a better pawn structure for sure. I don't know, like, you have very few options here, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. See, like, I thought that this was possible. I guess I don't necessarily think that it sucks. I'm just confused. Because, like, if I take, you're going to take here. Or maybe you won't. I don't know. Maybe you're like, I'm going to give up my knight instead of my bishop. So obviously we're not going to put you in check. That's just a given. Obviously we're not going to take you here. The only thing I really want to do is take you here. At which point I'm pretty sure you take, I take, you take, but we end up getting a bishop, right? Like if we go over it. I'm up by a knight. Effectively tied. I'm up by a bishop. You get a pawn? Unless I'm missing something. Is there another line here that's not obvious? And moreover, is there another way out that we don't actually... Because like in my head, I'm like, what if we did take, check. They're forced to like move their king or put something better in front. Unless I'm stupid, I think we love the take here. And then I think we, you know, this is good, but we don't lose anything, I think, by just doing the check instead. They'll probably move their king out. And now, like, I feel like we're in an extremely powerful position where I'm like, what if I put you in check here? You can't go there. You can't go there. All you can do, I think, is put the queen in front. So, you know, this is a lesson that I've learned from playing a lot recently, is like, let's not get too greedy. Like, just because we have a piece immediately available, let's not be stupid, you know. Let's take every advantage to see if we can push the advantage even further for us. We're actually now up by, it's a win, essentially, unless we blunder it away. So now, I know you were like, well, why not put them in check here? Well, that on the previous move, it's actually terrible because, like, I mean, we do move our knight into a nice position, but we're not actually, like, manifesting a threat. So if we were looking at this logically, I mean, I don't, that doesn't bother me at all. Let's put it that way. I put you in check. You're not going to take. You're probably going to move here. Yeah, I don't think we gain enough out of that to be interested. Let's put it that way. So I think what we will do instead is put some more pressure on this pawn. If this pawn falls, the game's over. And rather than move up for like a cheap check, admittedly it is protected, but I think we do a lot better by putting pressure on this. So here's, like, instead of worrying about the bishop, let's do what Levy taught us. Let's escalate. So if they want to take the bishop, that's fine. What if we did this? Now you have to go here, and we can start to put some real danger on you. If you want to take the bishop, go ahead and take the bishop. The other move you have here is like this, and I take, and you get a pawn, but we get the rook, you get a bishop. Probably they would do this, which is understandable. And then we'll move the bishop. We just want to, like, they hit us over on the queen side. We're like, nah, we're going to do a little king side attack on a more valuable piece. And where do we move our bishop after we have to move it? This is really good, I think. It doubles up on the diagonal, so we have a lot of, reinforced. Wow, they just went for it, huh? I'm a little surprised, for sure. Now, you might be saying, like, the most sensible move for you here is, like, just to take, but I actually think that just leaves us forked. So we won't be doing that for certain. What we'll be doing instead, I think, obviously they're trying to get a promotion here. I'm not really sweating it. We're going to try to put a lot of pressure on this. Now, they'll probably do like that. At which point, we can really fall back, and then we've got double coverage here. At one point, this bishop's going to get involved, but we have such a material advantage. Like, this is not a game we can't lose, but it's unlikely for certain. I mean, we're up by 9 points. So you knew something like this was likely to happen. Lots of available moves, quite frankly, including, to be honest with you, take. They take, we take. Like, time's getting a little tight. We don't have to do it, but they would. I'm just trying to figure out where they would go after this. Like, I think it's insane. But believe it or not, I'm actually like, let's do it. Let's do it. And this is a bad move that I'm making basically specifically because there's not a lot of time left. Like, this is not the way you would want to approach this. What I would want to do now is thread and mate, for sure. Which also allows me this square. That's mate. So I want to be honest, like, that was a bad move. Now, was it a bad move that we kind of did on purpose? Yeah. Okay, so obviously you're going to do that. I think I should do this. Now we have coverage there. We're probably going to move a pawn out, so we're not going to get back rank mated. We got a lot of tools in the toolbox right now. Basically, we have no threat. We could push him down with just our pawns. Pretty easily, actually. I mean, beyond everything else, even I find a better line. We're not throwing this one. I'm just letting you know we're not throwing this one. Here, he has to move. Just getting into the exact same situation. We could have taken the pawn. I'm being a little cheeky, I'll admit. I want to trade pieces. Like, I kind of want to just take his rook. Now you can see, like, we have the mate again. He can't go here or we take him. So what does he do to defend against a mate? It's a good question. Now he's made it again. Okay, I mean we're gonna win. We did a really good job in the middle of that game. I'm proud of us. No blunders, no mistakes, no missed wins, and a pretty solid game overall. The kind of game we can be pretty pleased with. I'm sure we made some inefficiencies. I'm also in the end game. I'm pretty sure we did make some blunders, but we'll see what the computer says. I'm not a chess teacher, but I think that there's a lot of value to be gained from that like lesson in the mid game there. That we were getting up to. So hold on. The analysis will not finish because the game was too powerful. But this is like, so straight up, well, the computer's hopefully finishing. The Scandinavian is not considered a good opening from black, which is fine. You know, maybe you want to play it just because it's goofy. There's some value I think to be had in that. But look, it already gives us a half pawn advantage. Just because it's book doesn't mean it's good, right? So, like, the way that it always works, why is it bad? Well, so we take. They obviously take. This move is book. We're only up by half a pawn. We've developed a knight. They've developed their queen. Queen developed is good, but it's also kind of a disadvantage in a way because you've got to, like, it's more open to threats, I guess. And then, like, this just, like, I don't know how to explain it. Doesn't that just look weak to you? That their king is just, like, chilling there with this, like, open, I mean, that's covered by the bishop, but this open square right there just seems like, it just seems not good. Okay, I mean, they played, we did miss 2 wins. I knew that was coming in the end game. They did have 28.7% accuracy, but all right, let's walk it through step by step here. That's one we can be pretty proud of. I think we did what we were supposed to do. They like where we're at right now. They do prefer b4. Why? b4. Presumably, there's some kind of trap, right? Like, if they take, it's considered a blunder. No, it's considered the best, actually. At which point, I assume we do something like that. Nope, they like rook to b1. So it's a gambit, I suppose, where you're giving up a pawn in exchange for like a sweet attack down here. So I mean, you could just fall back. Do they like it? No, it's horrible. Actually, it's truly terrible. Why? Probably is it just because of this? It's good to know. I'm just exploring here. And then like, okay, then you only have this, and then we capture the bishop, and your queen has a discovered attack. All right, that's obviously truly heinous. Anyway, so it still likes us. It does not like that move at all, and I agree. I don't think we took right away. No, we definitely didn't. So I think here, they hate this because now we have the option to move knight to d5, which they do like, but they prefer queen e2. Interesting. Very interesting. They did queen all the way back, which is fine, but now they've lost a lot of tempo. They think the capture is just fine. They like that capture. They like it less than they like this one, which is what I brought up earlier. But anyway, then we take. They like it. You got to do that move. Well, I mean, the computer disagrees, but they're very close. They do not like that move, which is very understandable because it does give up this, which I think is what they did anyway. No, we had to move our queen first. Hold on. We did that. I think they did this. Is that correct? We castled. They do not like the castle. They want us to reinforce this pawn, which was hanging forever. The reason I didn't reinforce it, honestly, for a while is because I just assumed that, like, you know, that's like you pay back the gambit, if that makes sense. You took tempo early, and then later you're going to kind of maintain that tempo advantage by allowing them to take back the pawn, but it was not sensible here. So that was like, they like that move, and then they did this, which they also still like, and then we did this, which they think is more or less fine. I forget what happened next. This is where they just took, right? And that's got to be the best move. It's good, at least. That's not what they did. Hold on. Oh, they did the rook to here, which is actually the best move. And then, this is where we did this, which they think is the best. They did that. We did... I forget what we did next. Oh, we did the best move, thankfully. Queen to c3. And then this is where it all went wrong. And this is where the game hung in the balance. Like, we were already up by a decent amount. They love that. I just want to see if we puzzled out the correct line. That is what they did, right? Yes. They hate that. Like, let's play it through if they had taken with the rook instead. We still get to do this, which would... Oh, they don't like it, actually. I wonder why. Maybe because this works better now? Nope, not at all. All right, so they want us just to take. And that's where the game would sit there. It's not that bad. It's not as bad as it could have been. They probably do that next. Like I said. Oh, the knight's totally available. This is the danger of, like, getting into these games. You know, when you're going through the analysis and you're not thinking straight. It makes you maybe look a little worse than you are. Anyway, so, like, this isn't so bad. If I take... They take with the rook. We take here. They take here. I mean, we're up by no material. But then presumably we do that. And then that would force you to go here in all likelihood. They hate it. It's a huge mistake. They go here, we probably do this. And then we just turn it into like a weird... Oh, they block with the rook. Take, I assume. Take. I wonder then if we start to, like, threaten this pawn, and also it's not really mate, I guess, but wonder if they do like that after this. Nope. Anyway, so clearly I'm out of my depth here, but anyway, the thing is, if they had just taken with the rook instead of with the pawn, I think the game would have been a lot different, but they took with the pawn, which is terrible. We got to sneak in this beautiful check where they went, you know, what the heck are you thinking? Just throw the rook away. And then we got to sneak in this incredible move that I was very proud of, because it's just very easy to bank the piece, but in this situation, you know, it had to be done. And, I mean, from this point onwards, the game is pretty much over. But we were on a little bit of a time crunch in the end game, but I do want to walk it through to about here. Because this is where we took this. They actually think the move is okay. It loses us 3 points, but when you're up by 17, who cares? And sometimes, I think in a time crunch, you're better off just, like, accepting that the end game, you know, you just want to simplify it, I guess. So there's mate in 6 here, which obviously I did not see. We'll consider that a missed win, but we are up by 32 points. And you always want to threaten mate in 1. Like, even though they're 2 away from putting us in checkmate, really, but with a back rank mate, if you threaten mate in 1, you always play the game on your opponent's, or they always have to play the game on your turn, right? Terms, I should say. All right, so they're like, that move's, like, fine. That move's okay. And then this is where, that was the best move, which is very surprising to me. It mitigates the mate and the back rank mate potential. They still like where we're at. They like that one too. Now they probably like us to, like, get our king to block the pawn, but that's good. You know, that we did do that next move, I think. That's a missed win yet again, and then the game's over. Okay. Let's do another one. That was a good one. Again, we puzzled things out well in the mid game there. I was proud of myself. Against e6, we are still playing the Caro-Kann. Interesting. A lot of f4 today. The good news for us, I guess, is that we already know how we want to handle this, I think. Something like this. And I certainly do not dislike this position unless I'm getting caught in some kind of weirdo gambit, which happens all the time. Whose position do I prefer? I think it's not a great time. Like, I don't know, maybe other people feel differently. I don't really like, you know, being the white pieces here because your king's so exposed. Now, that's not an amazing move from me. I think that they would, the analysis will probably be upset with that move, but we do get a pretty powerful diagonal for our bishop as a result. And I imagine, like, this is coming next. Which I would accept the swap. Like, here, I don't care. I definitely don't want to take. If they want to move their bishop to here, I think we take and leave their knight in kind of a crappy position, and we take the tempo that we get here. Yeah, I didn't think they would want to trade, quite frankly. They can't castle, which is pretty sweet. I don't know if I want a castle yet, just because this kind of scares me, but I will say, you know, we could neutralize that bishop a little bit. This is a weird opening. Like, I honestly don't know where it goes from here. I much prefer their pawn structure. Well, maybe I don't actually, because like b5 is pretty strong. And it totally covers this piece. And like, what's up with that? Like this wide open scenario here, right? So they want to, actually that's pretty good. I don't really want to trade. Would I be content to give them a pawn? Not really. And this is, we're getting a little goofy for sure. What about this? Puts double protection on this. Maybe they go here and they do threaten like a fork. But we got plenty of time. They're playing, let's not say too fast, but they're playing quickly. We can always go here. It's not a great place for it, but do I like this spot? I think maybe I like this spot. I mean, I'm just thinking, like, if they go here, we definitely don't want a castle. I don't know. This definitely, to me, seems like where the game is either won or lost. And I'm willing to play that game. So I think we only have, like, one response to this, which is this. One good response. We need to be able to cover this square. Now, simplifying it, when their knight is here, which we knew was happening, they could go here for a fork, but we get a pawn out of it. They might, no, they wouldn't do that. Yeah, I don't really know what's going to happen from this point onwards, but I would love the castle. I certainly love the position we got. I wouldn't mind getting their knight out of there. That's kind of a given, I'm sure. They still can't castle, so let's walk through their available moves. Probably this is considered pretty strong. That I would love, honestly. I wouldn't mind that at all. This, really bad, now that I think about it. There's this, which is kind of interesting. We'd have to prepare for, like, the prospect of an attack. Oh, they just want to keep the knight there, which, to be honest, like, doesn't bother me at all. I think I definitely just like the castle. They're just trying to get my queen out. Okay. I can understand why you would feel that way. Now, there's some fun moves here. Like, what about this? It would be funny. Wait a minute. I'm dumb, dude. Like, why am I even considering not doing this? It was like the whole reason it was there to begin with. By the way, I'm stupid. We actually, like, will not be forked here. That's not how that works. They can castle now, I suppose. If that was what they were really all about. And I like this a lot. You know, we got a lot of pressure on this. Obviously, we can now afford to do something like that. Because, I mean, we would get their queen for free if they took. And this threatens, you know, this, which is... I still, like, I don't hate it at all. I also like the take, quite frankly. I don't know. It's weird for sure. We really don't want to move this rook here because that's a great move. This knight is kind of paralyzed. There is, and you got to just hear me out on this one. There is this take, check. I'm just trying to think of, we would get knight, we would get bishop and knight. I mean, it clearly doesn't seem worth it. Let's put it that way. What does seem worth it? I actually think this capture is very good. For now. I could be wrong. And then I got to be honest, like stacking the rooks to protect this pawn. Or alternatively, there's always this, which protects this pawn to begin with, and also threatens that pawn, although that pawn's protected, obviously. There's always that, but I think it's a little stinky. I think we'll start here with the knowledge that this does let them drive the bus a little more. We could do that next. I mean, they still can't castle. I'm incorrect in that assumption. This is really good, because how do you deal with this check? You have to go here, which ruins your castling and forces your king out a little. But we can also, I mean, the thing is, if we go here, now this knight is genuinely under threat. I don't really understand the move. Obviously, they're putting pressure on here, but I would totally trade my rook for 2 knights at this stage of the game. Yeah, I guess I just don't get it. I mean, I guess maybe they're going to start moving their queen out. But my queen is actually, like, it's protected here. So I kind of like this. And again, we take... If we can take, at least. Does this open? Because you always got to be wary about, like, a fork here. I think what they're going to do is this. And they're going to be like, it's made in 1. Which is true. But then, like, we counter it, right? Like... Although, now that I think about it, this is actually a very strong move to also put some pressure on this square. Interesting. We could always just... I mean, we have a big material advantage in that we have 2 rooks, which as the game gets more open and it goes on longer and longer, we are happier and happier to be there. I'm also like, okay, so if you do this... Well, I like the idea of check, take, but obviously, like, that's not what we want long term. So I'm like, I don't mind this, for example. But I'm also, admittedly, I'm just looking at, like, I mean, that's, like, you lose the game. But I'm looking at, like, this. And then this. Or, like, because this is just, like, it's just good. I mean, we could always, if we're going to do it this way, we could do this, and then hold on. They'll probably go here. We don't want to give them that tempo. I know it seems strange. We don't want to give them that tempo. I think I like my rook here first. Are we in immediate danger? No. Like, they take... No problems. Now, they have to do something. Like, they'll probably do like this. Then we can just do that. They can't, you know, take, obviously. They move their knight here, so what? We take it. And, of course, like, this whole time, they still can't castle. They are under threat. If they don't do something to put some pressure on me and create, like, a mate-in-1 situation, we just take their knight. And even if they do some stuff, like, even if they get a little goofy with it, we always have this as, like, a defense mechanism. So I actually much prefer my position, which is probably not a surprise. So they have moved their knight, which is actually, like, a very strong move, now that I think about it, because they do get the pawn for free. But all that for a pawn, I mean, you know, I would have preferred if it didn't go down like that, let's be honest. But we're not under immediate threat, but obviously we're not taking the knight like we originally suggested. Time will be a little tighter. So there is the check, but again, we gotta create a way to get out of this first. Like, I think we have to force your knight off of this square, which also protects against the mate. Then we do check, and we take your rook. And it's not going to be, like, easy wins, right? Like just as a result of that, because we are going to have to be very aware of the position that's developing down here. But the queen can do a lot of damage, you know, from where it stands, if we're able to get it down there. I feel okay with this, to be honest. So they are going to allow the capture. I can't imagine we don't take. And they're going to try to get some pressure here. It's just scary because, like... Because you think, like, okay, they go here. What happens? I don't, like, am I crazy? I don't think this is that bad. I don't want to take my queen off of this diagonal yet. That's the only thing. Now I'm like, because I see what they're going for here. We're up by so much material, dude, that, like, in my hort of horts, oh, they're putting some pressure on my rook. I do see that. In my hort of horts, I'm just watching, right? Because they're going to try to put some pressure on this. Okay, hold on. What if we go check, dunk, yada, yada, boop, check. Like, I'd like to find a better way, if that makes sense. Obviously, we need to, like, defend our rook or do something about it. What if we just did this? Because time's getting tight. If we lose, it'll be on time, which is very valid. I want to be clear. It's very valid. So we want to, like, this is the scary part, right? We could always check, but we want to protect this square. We want to protect that square too. Like, this is bad. But is it that bad? No, I don't think so. And then if you want to check, go ahead. You check, you fork me. You got me. We have to do this. They do like that. We do that. They do this. We do that. We can avoid the stalemate, which is another thing I'm concerned about, obviously. They should just take. And then be like, we eked out a little bit of advantage. At which point we do this. Okay. So we're still, at this point, we're down a couple of pawns. But obviously, like, we're actually also up by a rook. Which is really nice. Time is tight. We let a little slip away. It's not my ideal endgame. Certainly not my ideal endgame. Okay, but now we got good blockers and we start to push these. I don't think we care that much. I know it seems off. Maybe I'm wrong. It's a more complicated situation. Like, this seems really good. But I think if he does that, we actually take. Dunk, take, dunk, dunk. He has to find a way to push this. But these are going to probably die on the vine. I bet the computer has us at a disadvantage now, which is sobering, for sure. But every time we push a pawn, because he has so much more time to puzzle at the end game right now. Every time we push a pawn, we get a little closer to, like, you know, God or Damarong. But I think we have to do that. And we also cannot allow that. We have to get here. He'll probably do that, is my guess. This is, I mean, I don't know. It looks maybe like a draw kind of as well. He has to defend the pawn. Maybe he does that instead. But then we start to, he's like, whoa, what am I going to do about this? I can't believe we're in a materially even game. Let me walk this through. Oh, there is no time to walk through. I think we could have done like check. Yeah, I think we could have gotten out of it. I think we're going to, well, we're not going to draw. I think he's going to win on time now that I think about it. In fact, he has a winning position right now is the other thing I would say. Fair enough. That was a good move. That was not a good move. I don't think we're going to clock out 2 minutes here. Oh, that was a great, honestly, like he beat me in the end game. I'll just resign. Like that was, he played really well. We should have crushed him. 4 blunders, 12 mistakes. I can tell you where those mistakes happened too. I guarantee this whole like mid-game scenario where we were like, we had our queen down here in this area. Wow. That's a funky one. That whole mid-game scenario, we had a lot of mistakes, I'm sure, in there. But let's walk it through real quick. Don't have a ton of time. So this is standard, like, we played the Caro-Kann the way that we like to play the Caro-Kann, I suppose. And it likes our position right now. It wanted us to take the knight, which I can understand, but through here it was weird, but it does like us. They do not like that move. They say no, no, no. Terrible move. Then they go, what are you doing? Then they go, what are you doing? Hold on. Though I was so worried about, like, they like this. Don't you just do that then? No, it's a huge blunder. Why? Is there like some weird mate here that I'm not considering? What happens if you do knight to c7? King here. Bishop, like, why don't you take this? You know what I mean? There must be some kind of mate I'm not, like, considering, but anyway. At 1300, maybe we're not going to see that. Okay, weird move. Horrible move. We take. Okay, so this is where I started to be like, I'm in love with how we're doing here. They love the take. They do not like this take. This is where it started going wrong for us. And I imagine you will see many, many question marks here. They love us by 10, which is sad. What we should have done, instead of playing so defensively, we should have started threatening our own mates. And then I think we could have played the game on our terms, and it wouldn't have been so bad. Now the game is, like, close to even. They don't like it. We're still up. They're like, yeah, just push that one pawn. They're like, what are you doing? Well, this is where we got very tight on time, too. I mean, I got to give fair play to my opponent. They didn't give up in the face of everything else. This is a mathematically drawn game, but we didn't have the time or perhaps the know-how to get there. Either way, it was a fun video. I hope you guys had a good time watching it. We went 1-1 with some decent games. Kind of. Either way, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. See ya!